Hill's ready in the middle. So is a big boy McAvoy, who turns 23 in the last week or so, I think last Wednesday, in fact. Hill won the knock. Hayes, the star. Stevens got it inside 50, and now an opportunity here for the Bombers. Couldn't quite tidy it up. Fletcher, Armitage and combining there, but missed the target of Jack Stephen.
Player down behind play. It's Harding MBT. He got smashed. You can see him there at the top of your screen, and gets up a little sorely. So maybe just the wind taken. Have a look at this big crunch because he came out hard, and Wilkes ran over the top of him as well.
Yep, kick back into the middle of the ground. Opportunity here for Dempster. Gains possession. Good shepherd from Gilbert. Allowed the handball to come to Fisher, and now he tries to advance the ball. Carlisle getting back. Didn't really make a difference initially, but the secondary did. Deliberate kick by Fletcher along the ground. Jetta just backs off, doesn't panic with the ball. And they love opening teams up through this area, Das, don't they?
Oh, they're the specialist at this. From half-back, they come through the corridor. And look at this play on from Melksham. They do this all the time.
Melksham goes wide and finds Jetta.
A couple of good matchups out there. Watson and Del Santo, it looks like. And Joey Montagna is playing on Stanton at this stage.
Such good users of the ball by foot, the Bombers. Probably the best in the competition. Hurley thought about the right foot kick, ambidextrous, decided to go the other way. Paddy Ryder got a fair claw on it, got it off to Hill. I reckon that was deliberately done, and Hill just let him down.
Something that a couple of ruckmen who are building their relationship back in, you'd love to try and get one to your mate, and I'm with you, BT. There's no doubt Ryder saw Hill down there. He guided it down almost like a ruck hit out. Hill's performance coming back in the last couple of weeks has been sensational. He's forced Bell Chambers out of the side, and this combination at their best, Ryder and Hill, can be one of the most dangerous in the comp.
So Wilt going wide, needed to get a hand there. Gilby's got to beat a couple, and he tried to lock it up, and I reckon he might be pinged here. Did he make an attempt? Did he have time? The umpire said he did, and it was a deliberate professional ploy by Gilbert there. Umpire forgetting that Leroy has a first name.
Big Ben McAvoy's dropped back inside his defensive 50. That's why Jetta's not kicking the ball in there.
So Jetta just wondering what he should do. Off to Melksham. Stanton demanding the ball and not getting it in the end. Melksham kick not great. Paddy Ryder careful. Howlett has been fantastic for the Bombers. Missed.
The Saints, Del Santo got back inside 50 as well. So the midfielders are getting in there and filling up some space. You know, Michael Hurley loves to lead up the middle of the ground. They're the #1 corridor team, Essendon. That's why they score heavily. You get it into the corridor, it makes it a lot easier for your forwards to lead.
It's a good point you make, Richo. This dangerous kick comes over Jetta's head. They'll turn it over here, the Bombers.
They will indeed. Heppel's going to pound the ball back inside or give it off to Myers, who's been in a sparkling touch as well. His kick was misdirected on this occasion. Dempster to tidy up, but the hurried kick. Every time they get it at the moment, the Saints, it's in a hurry.
Yeah, they're under pressure, but I think Richo's on to their planning tonight. They've been able to score under Scotty Waters. They're more attacking. Their defence has been sliced open, and the Bombers' forward line as dangerous as just about any team. So I think they are really going to focus on getting numbers back, making sure that they outnumber the Bombers' forwards.
And it was great hearing Sam Fisher talk in the warm-up about just exactly that. They wanted to slow the Bombers up. They know how good they are at moving it.
Carlisle from 52 out. Hoist the big ball. Got the first, the Bombers.
Oh, what a great start for Carlisle, drifting down from centre-half back, and they didn't blaze away the Bombers because the Saints had numbers back. They're happy to work the ball around the arc, and Carlisle's drilled a nice goal from 50. That's a terrific start for a defender.
Jakey Carlisle, he's just getting better and better, and as Richo said, he snuck forward and was able to nab one from beyond the 50.
Well, that was just smart by the Bombers. They didn't blaze away, worked it around the 50 and found Carlisle in space there.
Gee, Hill got up so high. He was very deliberate about where he was knocking it. Here he is, game 250 man. Stevie Milne took him on, got caught. That's the nature of the way he plays the game, though. Sometimes will be caught. Here's Lonigan. Went off the mark, so the umpire said, you've got to move. Howlett Wide ball for the Bombers. Carlisle again. They just don't panic, the Bombers, do they? Plenty of time. That's not a great option, as Lovett Murray had to beat 3. It was always going to be different. There's Reamers. Dempster now. Nice little ball. Myers. Hurley tries to evade the Hayes tackle. Hocking. There is Hayes. Beautiful little sidestep. And another. Boy, he's got the candy back, hasn't he? Can sell it like no other, Lenny.
This is where the Saints have all their numbers, BT, in the defensive part of the ground, but they're being massively outnumbered from 50 to half forward. And so the Bombers have been able to get a lot of possession early, get their confidence up, and they haven't been able to exit so far, the Saints, as well as they would like.
And throw in here. Opportunity out the side door for the Saints to work it forward. On that occasion, it was Simpkin. Rewalt now. This is about the best they've done, other than one opportunity very early in the game. Fletcher to Carlisle. Free kick off the ball will go to the Saints, and looks like it'll go to Sard. No one on the mark now. Did Fletcher infringe from coming from the protected zone? The punch away was good. Gilbert the road. Magnificent stuff from the Saints.
Yeah, brilliantly timed front and centre there from Sam Gilbert. Pushing up hard from defence against the run of play. The Bombers have had double the amount of footy St.Kilda have had in the early part of the game. But that counter-attack will be how they want to score. Numbers back, run through, push hard both ways. Good gut-running effort from Sam Gilbert.
Yeah, Sard got the free kick here just for a little jump and pull off the place. That was fair enough. Good start for Sam Gilbert. Hasn't had his best season, but that'll give him some confidence early in this game.
Opportunity here. Well, Dempsey, I don't know whether we're going to get a chance to have a look at a couple of Seagulls, but this game's been going on around them, over the top of them. They have not moved. They're the bravest Seagulls I know. Stanton backs out of one and got caught.
Just shine a little too much there, Brent Stanton. And overplayed it. Good defensive tackle from Graham, able to get back and save the day.
Das, we've seen this a bit in the last few weeks.
Watson, misdirected, haven't been able to find the target inside 50 just yet. Hurley thought about it. Davey backs off. Heppel wants to get on the left. Caught, gone. Great tackle, Sard.
Yeah, that was great pressure. Justin Kazitsky is playing on Dustin Fletcher, and he's trying to keep him really deep, Darcy. We've seen teams do that over the last month to Dustin Fletcher.
Those Seagulls trapped in under the roof, didn't get out in time, didn't get home to mum and dad in time, so they're going to have to sleep the night at a stranger's place, Darcy. Here's Dempsey.
Yeah, they've taken off now, BT, and they're going to try and find a safer home. And I'm with you, Richo. I think the tall, big forwards, even the ruckman style on Fletcher, I reckon it's the way to go. They just spark his interest a little more than the smalls.
Stanton, quick hands, love it. Murray's got a look, could have gone inside. Kick is great to Hurley.
He's in great touch, this bloke on screen. He's just got that confidence about him, the way he's leading, the way he's demanding the footy. His explosiveness off the mark is giving him a metre space. And 11-goal return over the past fortnight, Richo, is a pretty fair result.
He just leads hard and straight at the football, and if he doesn't mark that there, it's opening up room for the rest of the forward line around him. So he's just in terrific touch.
22-7 from set shots in the last 2 weeks, the Bombers. They're good at this. Hurley comes in and doesn't let them down. Very nicely done.
Another great start. 12 goals now in the last 3 weeks. Michael Hurley just giving him such a great target. There's Kevin Sheedy just having a word to our Doc Larkins down there, getting a bit of info.
Doing a bit of research down there.
Of course, they're playing the Hawks tomorrow.
Bombers got a fast start. Doc, you've got company down there tonight.
Yes, BT, as you just had on the screen, Kevin. Often comes and sit with me, Kevin, just to keep an eye on the Bombers tonight, or more interested in their new strip.
Oh, no, look, I just thought I'd sit down and have a look at St.Kilda, really, because we play them in about a month.
Robert Shaw pointing out on the Twitter as well that Watson and Hocking did not start in the centre square. Interesting stuff, he said. Get a comment from Das in a moment on that. Robert Shaw knows his footy. Here's Davey, got crunched big time there. Saints are equal to the task. Look at Hurley go under Montagna.
Yeah, it's a good point that Shorey points out, and I think what the coaches are doing sometimes is you're not giving the obvious. So you start outside, and then maybe you get a feel for who the matchup is, see if you can expose someone, maybe get hold of the ball forward. Both those guys would normally start the first bounce.
Need to get the ball out of this area and start to play it at their end, the Saints, because the Bombers are owning the ball.
Push out! In the back, Nick. Push him out. 2 hands in the back.
Push in the back, boys.
That's 50. Didn't give the ball back as it should have been. Direct, quick, efficient fashion.
Well,
umpire
that is
all over
lightning quick from Simon Meredith. There's Scotty Watt, who's a very composed.
Back to him, Nick.
And you can hear the answer. Well, was there a 0.3 of a second delay, BT, between the throw and the give back?
Hang on to the ball, glare at the umpire, and then give it back.
It's too harsh, that. Too harsh.
Hooker comes in. Well, that's what happened, boys.
Yeah, for such a minor infringement, though, it's a big, big penalty.
Well, what do you want, a 15-metre penalty instead, Richo?
Yeah, why
Have a look
not?
at this. Now, he marks the ball. There's the push. He marks the ball, goes back.
Well,
he's told at this stage, and he queries the decision. He hangs onto the ball. Look at the umpire's arms.
He's so flummoxed by the decision. He's actually checking to say, are you sure you haven't pointed the wrong way? Allow him 0.5 of a second, Brian.
Yeah.
Make sure, because if he throws it and it is his free kick, he'd probably pay a throw.
Correct call, Simon Meredith. I'm with you all the way.
Is it too harsh, the 50 for that, Brian?
Well, 50 metres is the rule. We don't have a 20-metre rule or a 10-metre rule, Richo, so
Well, I want one.
get used to it.
Let's get a 20-metre in.
Shepherd against Paddy.
Jeez. Cozzie's a bit fortunate there as well. He really smashed himself into that one, Cozzie, and the block was paid.
Fisher initially not sure as to whether it was going to be his ball or not. Simpkin as well. Kick wide, an opportunity for the Saints, but once again it's a 2-on-1 against Dempster. The handball to Wilkes. Had to get rid of it quickly. Had Carlisle all over him.
This is what Essendon's been so good at doing all year, just locking the game in their half of the ground. Their defensive work up to the middle of the ground is just fantastic. Over 75% of this quarter already in their half of the ground.
There is a good crowd in here tonight as well. Ryder just took it straight out of the ruck. Then we're off to Lovett Murray. Almost a flick out. Clever by Del Santo to Jack Stephen. Wilkes will get underneath this and take the mark. Could have given it to Armitage. Little close. But he's got a good one-on-one to go to. He draws Cozzie towards the ball. No winner in the air. In fact, it might have been Sipos, was it? It was. Now an opportunity for the Bombers to be clean through the middle. Melksham over the top to Lovett Murray. On to Dempsey. On to Ryder. Ryder can wind up. He was forced on his left, so he didn't have the wheels. Goes wide to Reimers. Reimers can recover this. Fisher overcommitted. Reimers wasn't clean on the initial take. Rang back into the Fisher tackle. And in the end, that cost him. Made a bit of a mess of it. The Bombers. Howlett to Hocking. Free kick, St Kilda.
Well, that passage of play was the blueprint for how Essendon have been able to beat the Saints. Even when they've been a genuine top four side in recent seasons, their ability to run through the middle of the ground, their aggressive attacking style of play and their speed has caused St Kilda a lot of dramas. On that occasion, Fisher was able to get back and defend, but that's the worry for them.
It is the Saints elect the interchange side of the ground. Wilkes doing well for the front position there. Really well done from Bo Wilkes.
Having a little bit of a win early in this game, the Saints, with Montagna on Stanton. Only the one touch so far for Brent Stanton.
Nick Rewalt's got a free here, so umpires are just blowing the whistle too much at the moment for my liking.
Well, you've got to pay them if they're there, BT, and you can't control when free kicks are being paid. But at the moment, it seems as though they've come with a fair willingness to try and pay. Well, that is just very hard to explain, and that is way over umpiring. I don't like to comment on umpires because occasionally they get it wrong, but don't interrupt the game like they are at the moment.
Rewalt steps to the line. That is a magnificent kick. Just skimmed the back part of the goalpost. It looked good off the boot, and he should be happy with that effort.
Yeah, he kicked it well. He'd be happy with that free kick, Nick Rewalt. He's probably missed a lot of free kicks over the years. In fact, he's been smashed in the contest at centre-half forward for so long, so he'd be happy with a little present like that.
Green kick by Fletcher. Trying to pick out Hill, and Melksham, beautiful front and centre, clean hands. Unusual handball, didn't have the left, did he? Look at the free-flowing run of Lovett Murray. Got it into Hocking, but he's a left footer. Had to get it back off to Howard. He gets a really good look. Poised the question. Took plenty of time and missed.
Great brand of footy this side plays. I'm a massive admirer of what they're building at the moment. The AFL coaches were surveyed during the week. The results came out, and I think the majority have picked Essendon as a side that really is coming into a period of time where they will push for a premiership. And we've spoken about it a lot on Saturday night footy. Good balance between speed, run, contest, key forwards, key defenders. It's a good mix.
Need a win to stay in top 4 contention here, the Bombers, as well, because the 3 teams above them, Sydney, West Coast and Collingwood, all have 44 points. The Bombers on 40, and percentage could get them up into 3rd position with a win tonight, go above Collingwood. Here's Clint Jones. It goes wide. Fisher in front. Howlett, who's been incredibly impressive. Melksham around the corner. Lovett Murray didn't quite get there. McAvoy sharp. So was Hayes. So was Simpkin. Jones' kick not great. It was one of those panic kicks.
Well, they're under all sorts of pressure, BT. Great forward defensive chasing there from the small forwards, Jetta, Davey. That's what they're in the side to do, to make sure that it's so hard to get out of their forward half.
Hibberd to Myers to Heppel. A lot of left footers involved here at the moment. Back to Fletcher. So look at all the play. There's no one behind where Fletcher to the right of screen there at all. All the players are forward of this ball. Kick goes into Watson, had to back up into it. Just can't find that last target inside 50, the Bombers.
Yeah, they're just loath to go in there at the moment because McAvoy and Del Santo are getting back and really blocking up space.
There's Milne.
They're going to get on the rebound here, BT.
Snyder marks. Left footer. Bounce. Steady. No one goes at him. He can nearly go all the way and drills the goal. Snyder.
Did that well, Adam Snyder. Ran his full length, had a bounce, and he is a quality finisher. He was never, ever going to miss that. But that's going to be their game plan tonight. They're getting numbers back behind the ball, force Essendon to turn the ball over on 50, and then rebounded it right down to the other end of the ground. So really is part of their game plan tonight. Numbers back, try and get the turnovers, get it on the rebound.
Snyder was able to mark that, get inside 50. No one came at him. He tempted to do that so he could go the old Joe the Goose over the top. In the end, ran home and got it himself. Back in the middle, big boy McAvoy, turning 23 last Wednesday. Players converging here. I think we'll have another ball up. You can see that the Saints are wearing black armbands tonight in memory of former player Peter Bennett, who passed away this week. 103 games, 259 goals. 52 and 56 Olympian as well. Once kicked 7 goals, 15 in a game. So he's being remembered tonight by the current crop of St.Kilda men. Lovett Murray, been in dashing form so far. Got it to 50, no problems with the journey. And our man down there, the goal umpire, signals a behind. Coaches are concerned. Barrel boy, there he is. I've never seen a more well-prepared goal umpire in my life.
No, he's in ripping nick. He's got the extra small shirt on as well, just to highlight how well he's been training the goal umpire.
There he is. Very studious work. He's got it ripped. Must have the bench press at home. Graham goes long. Milne's got his man under the ball. A little nudge helps him on his way. He's got a good left. Back to Rewalt. Brilliant smother. Picked up by Kozitsky. Lets it rip. And he's got the goal.
Great reply from Cozzy and the Saints, getting lots of tweets about the new heritage jumper from the Bombers. Andrew says, reckon Essendon's clash jumper comes up well. Matty says, nice to watch St.Kilda and Essendon and be able to tell them apart. So some positive feedback, live and interactive tonight on the clash jumper, BT.
OK, we accept that. Some good positive stuff. Das has Heppel. Love the left foot as the Bombers. That's a great kick. Remus back inside, sees Hill.
Yeah, and we see straight after the bounce, McAvoy is straight back in there again. That's good by David Hill. Try and draw the football. If McAvoy's going to get back.
Ryder on the march and had him covered all the way, did Tommy Simpkin. Now Dempster went and got it. Handball over the top to Stephen. Professionally took that out of bounds.
Already had 16 inside 50s, Essendon. Still have 6.5 minutes left in this quarter. They're on target to have over 20 for the quarter. That's a lot of inside 50s.
Just owned the ball at their end, Richo.
Yeah.
Saints have got into it last couple of minutes a little bit better, but...
Well, it's definitely how they want to play tonight. BT, they want to get numbers back and then rebound and try and run the length of the ground to get their scores if they don't get it from the first centre clearance.
They're trying to do that, Richo, but they need some composure coming out of the back line. They can't afford to turn the ball over. Essendon are so good on the counter-attack. They need to be patient with their ball use, which has been good here so far.
So don't go to that one-on-one, Lingy. Look for the loose.
Look for it, work the ball down by foot, by some short kicks, some patient ball use, then look for the opportunity to go fast when the time's right.
Lingy, I know you love Jobe Watson. This time last week, he had about 14 disposals towards the end of the first quarter. Been a quieter start tonight. Have you had your eye on him and who his matchup is?
Yeah, a little bit of a matchup. Sam Fisher mentioned that Del Santo was going to spend some time on Jobe, but it's also been Clint Jones who's rotated through him as well. Interesting to see that he didn't start in the centre bounce, obviously trying to get him to play some different roles tonight for the Bombers.
Only the 4 disposals so far in the match, Jobe Watson.
Nice pick up there. Das has Stanton. In the corner, high ball. Got to compete Hurley. He does, but Fisher and Graham outnumber him. Gwilt's there for a bit of moral support as well, and just to make sure the coast is clear. Jack Stephen, the boy from the Great Ocean Road down there in Lawn. Loves to go surfing down the local beaches along the Great Ocean Road. Rewalt didn't get down. Hooker caught with the ball. Did he dispose of it? Dempsey tried to simulate a high tackle there, and it clearly wasn't. Now Hibbert is absolutely mauled by the Saints, who are really starting to compete big time now.
A couple of brilliant tackles in a row here. Nick Rewalt, probably a bit lucky that one just drifted over the shoulder, but Lenny Hayes' one before was just a brilliant effort.
Heppel, this will come back, I reckon. Running on the end of it was Simpkin. Now looks out to the fat side of the ground. Fisher's got to be careful. Davey wasn't sure whether to come at him or let him have the easy one. Poor kick, wasn't it? Howard in the end, and Dempsey now at ground level. Now he sucked it in there, Dempsey. He must get this out or he'll be pinged. Umpire gave him the benefit of the doubt.
Just a poor kick there, narrow way. Sipos and Schneider had made space on this half-forward flank, and that hit the target. They would have gone inside 50.
Really unlike Sam Fisher, Richard.
Yeah,
normally so good by foot.
Watson, there he is. Davey, quick little one to Lonigan, who caught one right in the guts. Melksham's caught. And a throw. No complaints from Jakey Melksham.
Well, they have been able to slow the Bombers down. It's not a fast game at this stage, so they're getting the game how they want at the moment, St Kilda.
Ryder there to interrupt the run of this man, Rewalt. Tried the little gimme through to Sard, couldn't get it. Dempsey tries to bust the tackle, he took him on. Hooker must get rid of it, he does. Lonigan, well done to Lovett Murray. Now Watson, he says, come at me. Please, someone present. Howlett had to be brave and go at it. Fisher was there. Howlett kept going. If he can get it over the top, they're out of the loop here. Remus from the handball of Hurley. Run into the open goal.
Just got through the Bombers, the chain. And tried to slow them down through the middle of the ground there, the Saints. And it was a ball at half forward, a missed tackle from Sam Fisher. And once they get rolling forward, they are as good at scoring on the rebound as any side in the competition. Great start to this game, really evenly poised. I think they don't want to get in a shootout in this game, the Saints. I don't think that's going to be the way they're going to win it.
Here's a look at the high angle at what was confronting. Initially, Howlett was able to run on. Hurley knew that Remus was running forward of the ball, and you can see the space he had to operate there. Didn't let them down. Back in the middle. Opportunity for Watson. Del Santo to Jones. Jones, little kick out wide to Rewald, who's really working hard. Picked that one up cleanly. Stephen. Great presentation to Sipos. Sipos decides to get around on the arc and hoist it to the top of the square. Kazitsky's got the sit over the back. Good grab. Had it clean.
He got a great block then, Richo Cozzy from Snyder. Fletcher's not happy about it. He's trying to point it out to the umpire. It's just off the left of your screen, Dustin Fletcher. But again, I like the big, tall. Fletcher has to get on a man, and he's not able to get free, and that's the spot where you want to hit Cozzy every time.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Schneider is just smart. He just got in Fletcher's way. That gave Cozzy the space.
Look at the set shot record there, 17-2. Make that 18-2. Cozzy gets his second goal of this game so far.
Yeah, this is really good. Dustin Fletcher's so good at intercepting around half-back and starting scoring chains for his side. In the last few weeks, teams have really been dragging him back to the goal square like Cozzy is here.
We'll just look at the bottom of your screen. There's Snyder. He got in the right spot. Fletcher throws his arms out. Can't get to his man, Kazitsky. Good play from Snyder.
Wilkes doing well to engage the defenders as well. Right at a Howlett. Howlett to Remus. Attacking the ball was Dempster. Clever little tap out now to Watson, and eventually went and got it. Hocking gave it to the wrong man though. Fast hands here. Ends with Graham. Now the Bombers have got the run back in, but Hooker's being pursued by Rewalt and did well. Hooker, but that's a risky kick. Del Santo will go wide. Opportunity for Snyder. Goes short and finds that target. And this will be a shot at goal here from Armitage.
Armitage is going to go back and kick it. And this opportunity has come from the 100-to-1 chance where you actually call for the ball from opposition. And Montagna's dead set call for it. Give it to me, give it to me. And he has. Straight to Montagna, and as a result, Armitage gets on the end of one. You try that about 100 times, once in 100 it works.
So he lines up now with 1:30 remaining in this first quarter. Saints by 2 points. Armitage to his near side, and a 3-point St Kilda lead after a shaky start for them. They have recovered quite brilliantly. And now it's the Bombers that are going to find a way through the traffic. Fletcher gets such good penetration with his kicks from full-back. Montagna to Dempster. Ugly kick around the corner from Dempster. Unlucky not to find Sard in the end. Howlett. Carlisle took him on. Rewalt, little poker through the pack. Fletcher trying to knock that through for a behind and succeeded.
Well, they're going to go into the break pretty happy, I'd say, the Saints. Essendon haven't been able to get their game style going at all in this first quarter. They've obviously done their homework. Sam Fisher said before the game they were going to try and slow them down, not let them play on, not come through the corridor as much. They've done that.
Fisher. High tackle.
Stay there. High tackle.
Murray hurt himself as a result of that tackle, possibly. Now Graham. 60 out. Carlisle gets underneath it.
Saints have scored over 100 points in the last 5 games. They've only won 2 of them. And I think tonight, Essendon's not a side you want to get in a shootout with. They've got to try and defend better than they have.
Watson wants someone to run forward. Finds Remus. Understood that he's very, very quick. Remus didn't really accelerate away, and the kick was ordinary. Trying to thread the needle to Elwyn Davey. So with just a few seconds remaining, the Saints will be careful here. And Armitage holds the ball aloft as if to suggest we'll take no risks here. Interesting quarter of football. Very, very interesting. A 4-goal to 3-quarter it is. Jobe Watson with a little bit of coaching for Kyle Remus. Fascinating game of football. Stay with us here because I feel that we've got a big game brewing here now. St Kilda and the Bombers. 4-point lead with the Saints.
he obviously get back. They'll give him a run and see. I'll watch him. Hurley also got him more work at quarter time, Das. We'll talk about that in a minute.
That's Ahmed Saad there on the St Kilda beach that Doc is talking about. We start the second quarter of football here. Hocking searching for a win at the ground level. Gilbert, Stanton, and somehow Lonigan came out with the pill. Very nice ball. Got up to Hill. Clever tap to Carlisle. What a crunching tackle from Simpkin. A driving tackle from the Saints. Young man Tom Simpkin.
Thanks, Jason.
There's Cozzy and Dustin Fletcher. So he's really trying to keep him right back. He's outside the 50 there. Normally you roll up further than that, the deepest forward. So they just want to keep Dustin out of the play.
Farron Ray and Ricky Dyson, the subs for either side. Plenty of run there when they need it from either of those players. Dempster tries to get this one out, but it won't come.
There's Jake Carlisle, who's playing forward in the game tonight. He's played virtually the whole year as a defender, and he's going to be one of those flexible players I think that James Heard's going to enjoy. He can play key roles at either end of the ground.
Absolutely. Done most of it back at the moment, but I'm liking his movement up forward when he's been there in short periods as well, Darsh. You're quite right. Hes Gwilt. Del Santo just pulled the trigger on a low ball to Kazitsky.
High on!
Kick inside to McAvoy's got to be good, and McAvoy didn't let him down in the air.
High on!
McAvoy looking to move the ball. Good kick to Riewoldt. He's able to run forward and take it in front. Good example there. And they're off and running here at the moment, the Saints. A driving ball down there to Wilkes. Couldn't hold it. Stanton's got to get rid of it. He did. Heppel and Myers combined.
The free kick's going to go the Bombers' way here to Myers, but that is a perfect build-up for St Kilda. It was Cozzy's kick, had some risk with it, but it just opened up the whole ground. They're able to split them. Riewoldt came up and got the lead. Scotty Waters really frustrated with giving one way in that part of the ground. They wanted just to keep the pressure on the throat of the Bombers.
Doc, Ahmed Saad and that knee.
He's tested it out a few runs down the boundary line. Not very comfortable, complaining of pain in that outer back corner, so it's not right yet.
Okay, kick into Milne here. He's got a very difficult angle to negotiate. There is Saad speaking with the medical staff. Doesn't look all that promising to me. That conversation looks a little negative.
Farron Ray is the sub. Starting to warm up if I was Farron.
Yeah, basically telling him to take a seat and forget about it. Otherwise, they'd be trying to get him to warm up. Milne comes in from the boundary line. Magnificent kick, Stevie Milne. A little salute to the crowd.
He's a genius, Milne. The degree of difficulty on that kick is a 10 out of 10. He loves to normally run out and bend it around, but he was too far out to go for that kick, so he's had to go a bit of left to right bend, as tight on the right half forward boundary as you could be jammed up against. So look at Milne. Now, as soon as he marks it, he doesn't want to pass off. He's going, I can do this. Give it to me. But you've got to hit that perfectly, Richo. That's a brilliant, brilliant effort.
It certainly was, Darson. He should be pretty confident. He's kicked the most goals at this stadium, at this venue.
Look at the fans enjoying that, riding it all the way, Richo in the background. Have a look at them, holding their breath. Milne goes back, and they're absolutely loving it. Lonigan, Hocking high tackle on Watson.
Easy, David!
So they're almost doing a team tackle roll on Joe Watson. Every time he rolls off, that was Snyder. They're really trying to get in his face and make sure he earns every kick.
You're absolutely correct, Das. There's a number of blokes. Armitage is another one with Hayes and also Clint Jones, all rotating through Joe Watson at the moment.
He likes his chances here, Ryder, I think.
Yeah, well, he is. Man on the mark, Riewoldt is basically on the edge of the square, so it's going to be, by the time he kicks it before the man on the mark, about 58 metres. Ryder comes in, didn't overkick it, got a lot of altitude, it falls 5 metres short in the end.
Well done, Ben McAvoy. That's the job. The ruckman does when you get down there to get on the goal line for the long shot, punched it through. He's playing a solid game tonight, Ben McAvoy. Disciplined, getting back, helping his defence. Pushed into the middle before and created that option that got them an inside 50. So he's having a solid night.
Gwilt goes on from full back and goes short to Clint Jones, who found a bit of space. He's able to go as well now. He's got Armitage if he can get the length from the kick. He can. Lonigan did really well not to infringe. Made it hard. Gilbert on his left. Great kick. Milne on the lead. Good movement from the Saints. He plays on Milne, prefers it around the corner. Hooked that one too much.
Gee, he loves that one, doesn't he? Doesn't miss many of those when he plays on around the corner. He just got cramped up a little bit at the end. 322 goals he's kicked at Etihad Stadium. That's the most of any player.
Back into Lonergan. Carlisle presenting from that centre-half forward position. Good grab, isn't it? What about the extension of the arms?
On a good player in Sam Fisher, who gave him a heap of heat. Great clunk that was.
Really impressive. Hayes. Del Santo. Look at this guy kick it. Fisher now on the turnover. Wide ball. Finds Sipos. Boundary side to Wilkes.
Elwyn Davey hasn't had a kick yet. He's just finding it.
Fletcher knocks down Hocking. Hooker and Dempsey along with Lonergan ran into the Milne tackle. Forced the turnover in the handball. Del Santo to tidy it up. Centering ball right up.
Thanks, Dave. Play on. 50 metres.
Oh, let's listen.
No. 50 metres. And then you smothered the handball. Put your hand out and smother the handball.
Okay, smothered the handball before he had called play on.
Jeez, that's an interesting decision, isn't it? Because I suppose the ball's got to be released from the hand and then it has to be play on. You've still got to wait for the umpire's decision as they go forward here. And the Saints are just absolutely rope ball that decision. But hey, you've got to get on with it. You've got to get back in numbers and defend. They didn't get back quick enough, and this is an easy opportunity here for Reamers. Let's have a look at it again. There's the mark to Paddy Ryder. And the hands go. He puts the hand in. 50-50 that.
But the rule is you've got to wait till the umpire does signal play on. He wouldn't have had time to, even though he was in the motion. I know what you mean. Here's the kick from Reamers. It's low. It was never going to make the line.
BT, I want to ask you a question, though. If he went to kick there, the player's allowed to smother a kick. Does that mean he can't smother a handball?
No, he's not allowed to smother anything until the umpire's called play on.
If the kick's low enough, surely the player is allowed to smother a ball when they're kicking it.
Yeah, of course they can.
As long as the umpire has said play on. It's not play on until the umpire calls play on. Surely.
No, but if he goes back to kick the ball and you smother the kick, you're allowed to do that. I know what you're saying, Lingy. Good point.
Yeah, Paul.
Thanks, Richo. Backing me up well there, mate.
Don't know. We're going to have another listen anyway because we reckon the umpire actually called play on. Now we've been told. So we'll have a look in a moment. Here's Dempster with a little bit of a slipper that out of bounds on the full here.
Back and leader. Thank you.
Yeah, the umpire had signalled play on, I reckon, with a hand motion. The voice mightn't have connected yet.
Yeah, it looked that way, didn't it? Either way, that decision's going to stand. And Michael Hurley, who hasn't had a lot of impact in this game so far, he gets an opportunity to score a difficult one here.
Thanks, Sean.
Very difficult one from the boundary line for Hurley. We'll have to thread the needle. There's the result.
It's going to be one of those nights for Michael Hurley. It's not going to be easy to find space inside 50 with McAvoy. The Saints pretty keen to get numbers back.
Wilkes got a push there.
Bo Wilkes.
Yep. Quickly down to you, Doc Larkins.
Yeah, Saad has gone back on for the Saints with the knee heavily strapped. Hasn't really been in a tough contest to test it out yet, Brian, but he's moving freely at the moment.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on that. Is Del Santo at half-back for the Saints. They lead it by 10. Certainly have restricted the scoring. Just the one goal collectively kicked in this quarter. Wilkes, who's presented up nicely tonight and been in the thick of it. Gives it off to Dempster. Rewalt. Another little handball. Del Santo looking for Gilbert at the back. Milne edged his man under again. Went after him. Hibbard slipped the tackle. Just not the composure. Well done in the end. Kicked by Sipos, I think it was. Got the goal.
Nice snap around the corner from Sipos, but with Stephen Milne's ability to keep his feet and break a tackle, got his foot to the ball, kept the ball alive inside forward 50, and Sipos finished it off. There's Saad back on the ground. He's not moving really well. He's had that knee taped. keep an eye on him in the next 5 minutes, but doesn't look great.
Sipos kicks a nice goal, but he ran straight over to Stephen Milne in game 250, as he should, because it was a brilliant individual effort from Milne. Stood up, managed to shrug an opponent, kept his feet beautifully. Nice little gap opened up here for the Saints.
Watson out of the middle. He's a great clearance player. Heppel and Stanton combined, but under pressure, Hibbert finally got it to the left footer. Good mark by Paddy Ryder. Umpire said, "You've got to go." You ran off the mark. Lovett Murray. Howlett, not the required journey. Play on. Good call, umpire. There's Jobe Watson. Got to kick it. Touch on it. Stanton on his non-preferred left side. Saints are the only one back. Big boy McAvoy. Jack Stephen goes back inside, and that's not his best kick. Fletcher thought about the big one, but what great poise shown by Dustin Fletcher to Watson.
Well, they really have had the momentum in the last 10 minutes of this game, the Saints. And unfortunately for them, Jack Stephen just bit off a little more than he really should have. Didn't play the percentages. And Fletcher, who's had his hands full with Kosicki so far, was able just to get in front, played it beautifully. And skipper Watson gets involved.
In his last 6 games, he's managed to kick a goal in all of those, Jobe Watson. He's had some wonderful leadership over that period as well. He is directly in front here. Gets momentum in the run and just munged that off the side of the boot. And Big Boy's got a piece of it again.
He's on top, McAvoy, Richo. You're all over it. And that has been very, very important so far. And the Saints, good start in this game. Ryder and Hill were a bit of a worry coming in. McAvoy's playing beautifully.
If you're rucking against him at the moment, Darcy, he's dropping back. What should you try and do as David Hill or Paddy Ryder?
Well, they've got to man him up and make sure he doesn't take uncontested marks or get dangerous. And at the moment, they're caught in no man's land, the Bomber ruckman.
Cozzy flew, hurt himself and his own man, and they're both rolling in pain. In the meantime, the Bombers go on. The play's going to come back. Look, they've just got to their feet now. Great effort by McAvoy to try and recover after a heavy knock. Hocking to Fletcher. Banged Jack Stephen in the head, and Dustin said, "Cop that." Dempsey to Hocking. Hocking to Watson. Watson wide, looking for Reamers. Needs a clean gather. Got it. Did well, Geary. Spun him in the tackle. Hurley's got to go. Got rid of one. Got it off to Lovett Murray. Around the corner, Lovett Murray missed.
Well, the bad news is we'll get to the dock shortly. McAvoy's gone off. Cozzy's up, but he's really limping in the middle of the ground.
Kick back out in the Sipos direction. Roddy, you reckon, Doc, any damage done at ground level there?
No, look, a bit of a cork kick for Cozzy and a bit of a hit in the eye for McAvoy. He says he's all right. He doesn't want any treatment on a McAvoy. He's just having a rest on the bench, but just got a hit.
So Cozzy will stay out there. There's the subs if they need them. Farron Ray for the Saints.
One of those dangerous players, Cozzy. He's either going to hurt himself, hurt a teammate, or anyone else in the near vicinity.
All arms, legs, and elbows and knees, isn't he?
And he's got tunnel vision. He can't ever question his bravery, but he just smashes his body in. Sometimes he gets hurt, sometimes his teammates, but he started well. Got Fletcher tonight. He's kicked a couple.
The boy from Brocklesby in southern New South Wales. Presented a couple of footballers. Tony Armstrong, I think, from memory, the other one. There's Del Santo, now playing with the Sydney Swads. Now there is Saad, who's taken over the line in an awkward position on that knee, and he didn't look comfortable.
He was tackled almost out of bounds, and I'm not sure if that was holding the ball.
He doesn't look right, though, BT, Ahmed Saad. He's limping badly, knees strapped up, and we've got a few worries at the moment.
I reckon they're trying to get him to half-time before they have to use the sub as a minimum.
You've got to be able to run, though, BT. I understand the idea, but it just doesn't look comfortable at all.
Armitage down the line. Rewalt pushed out of position by the stronger hooker on that occasion. Kept it alive, Sipos. Looking for a little give and go here. Saad to Milne. Chipper around the corner. Stanton says, steady, boys, steady.
BT, I think you're spot on with Saad. Both the doctor and the runner have been out to him. And I reckon the message would be, give us everything you've got for a period of time. We'll look to substitute you if you can't play anymore.
Yeah, just try and get through this 9 minutes that we've got left, and that'll put our sub in a better position than it would be now.
This is great, though. They've just held the Bombers up. Really disciplined performance.
Look at Wilkes manning the mark there, Richo.
They've really come with a plan to slow the Bombers down, and it's working.
Kyle Hardingham with a little one-glover there.
They're not letting them play on. They're making them go back and kick over the mark. So he's got nothing down the line there just to go to the contest.
High. Gilbert setting himself with some aggression. Carlisle went back. Reamers with a lovely handball to Hill. Hill had to be careful to Davey. Put up the one hand. Do you pay the mark or not? Now he's going to take Dempster on. Got him, but he got rid of it. Well done. Geary stolen by Hurley. Bombers applying a lot of pressure here. Well done, Gilbert and Dempster. Really well done, the Saints in defence.
Yeah, another brilliant effort to get hold of Aaron Davey here. He's lightning, particularly when he sees an opportunity to kick a goal. Dempster applied a really good tackle there.
See, old Kevin Bartlett almost threw it out in front of him then.
I reckon you've nailed you can almost hear Scotty Waters' voice all week in their team meeting. Man the mark with aggression.
Yep.
Don't let them play on. Got to make sure we slow this game down. If we let them break free, we're going to get caught. And they've so far stuck to the plan. It's worked nicely for them.
Schneider working through some traffic. Lonigan, fast hands, watching, intercepted almost there by Del Santo. Davey ran into the brick wall with Simpkin.
Darcy spot on. I reckon the other thing he would have said, own the corridor. Essendon love to come up the middle of the ground with those kicks on the 45-degree angle. Don't let them have it.
How have you seen that so far, Lingy?
Been a lot better this quarter. Force them around the boundary. We've seen a lot of long kicks down the boundary to a contested situation.
He's all over it, Lingy, isn't he? His first year out of footy, reigning premiership captain. Just all over the stuff.
He particularly loves anyone who does a nice defensive whirl. We wait for a bit of Clint Jones action. One of his favourites is Heath Hocking, of course, as well, Richo.
He loves to tag us, Lingy, and I reckon he's up and about. He's got his favourite shirt on tonight, BT.
Lover of all things negative, Lingy.
When he put that shirt on, he felt pretty good about himself tonight, Lingy.
It was only a matter of time before one of you boys brought up this shirt. I appreciate that.
When you go to the wardrobe department and request the red to match your other features, Lingy, then we have to talk about it, clearly.
We'll get a good shot of that later on to let you in on that little gag. Montagna, Hocking at ground level. Lonigan somehow stole it out of there. Dempsey under pressure. Interception by Stephen. Geary. The overlap running from Fisher is impressive. The presentation to Rewald is good as well. And the run over the top from Gilbert, really good.
Front on.
Gee, gives some. His work rate's always been outstanding, Nick Rewald, and always presents up to the logos.
There's Gilbert to Sarge. I thought he could have almost got there, Sarge. He must be labouring as a result of that knee problem. Stanton dangerously keeping it alive by bringing it back in the corridor there. And now this gives a real opportunity for the Saints to nail the Bombers. Hooker was fast with the hands. Fletcher, how's that? Got it to spin end over end deliberately along the ground to Hill. And his kick was marked by Milne, who's on the bench at the moment, not in the field of play.
Angus Livey's tweeted in, we are live interactive. Bombers need to step up and match Saints' intensity to stay in it before half-time. And I reckon that's a very good point that Angus makes. They have just got a bit more intensity about them at the moment, the Saints.
Kick to the pack and the mark taken by Wilkes.
They're controlling the air tonight, the Saints. That's 6 contested marks now that they've taken. 54 marks to 34. And it was probably an area coming into this game where you thought the Bombers would have the ascendancy, but Saints are taking it right up to them.
2-2 from set shots tonight. 6-5 last week. Bo Wilkes with a pretty easy one. A lot of height. That's nice. Well done, Wilkes. He's enjoying the moment, and why not?
The old modern tactic of coming straight off when you kick a goal, but they're really serving it up to the Bombers. They've talked about it all night, but come in with a real plan to shut down the Bombers' game plan. Their forwards are marking the ball. Rewald's hitting up, providing an option, but then Cozzy and Wilkes have got involved and taken marks inside 50 as well.
So the Saints with a really strong run on at the moment, and the bad news for the Bombers is that they have been leading at half-time in all of the 10 matches that they've won this year. And that won't be the case tonight. They need to find something and find it quick.
Hayes to Jones with a clearance. Jones turns around with a free look. Can't beat that ball. Low and hard and firm to Sipos.
And the
Sipos
Saints
acknowledges that.
And the Saints sent in their big guns to that centre bounce. It was obviously the clearance from Lenny Hayes, but it was Del Santo and Montagna both in that centre, all in that centre bounce. Important clearance. They kick another goal here. They get a pretty good buffer heading into half-time.
Well done for Clint Jones.
Yep. To make it 5 St Kilda goals in a row. Helen McBridge has tweeted in and said, great quarter the Saints, bring on the next quarter. Great start to Saturday night footy. And the Saints for 5 in a row. Silences Sipos. Prepares.
She hit that well.
Goes long. Fans like it. He likes it. And Barrel Boy agrees. Sipos has got a couple in the quarter.
He has, and 5 straight unanswered goals for the Saints is because he just ambles his way back onto Etihad Stadium and out to a 28-point lead. And really, a big 5 minutes coming up here for the Bombers. This one will get away from them. They need to respond.
Game high margin, 28 points. Doc Larkin's down there on the boundary.
Yeah, because he wasn't keen to come back on. He was trying to get some work on his back while he was off the ground, but he had to come back on. He still saw Hurley still getting release work on that tight right hamstring.
Out of the middle, clearance here from Howlett. Here comes Gilbert. Could have gone the mark. Went the double-fisted punch away. Didn't know what was around him. Fair enough. Davey. Remus soccering.
I reckon if you can get 2 hands up to punch it away, though, you just take the mark.
Hurley came in tight, still getting the masseur on that hamstring.
Yeah, the Doc all over it, but we focused on that before the first bounce, and it just did seem unusual. He really was specifically getting them to massage right at the end, right up high under his hamstring. And
now Hardingham's hurt his shoulder here. He's gone straight off because it was near the bench. I reckon he's just given that a little sublax. Sorry to use the Doc's words. What do you reckon, Doc, just in front of you?
Yeah, they're just... No, he's winded, actually, Brian. He's winded, so it's not his shoulder. It's actually just trying to get his breath back.
OK, nice work, Doc. Happened about 5 metres away from you. There he is, Kyle Hardingham. Big legs, big backsides. That's all part of the weapon, the man that's responsible for getting them fit. And there it is there. Not sure what happened there.
So his
one of the solar plexus.
Milne's heel come back and flick him in the stomach, I think.
Good tackle by Hayes. Should have been a throw. It wasn't a legal disposal, that is for sure. Montagna's kick was smothered by Lonergan. And there is Hardingham wanting more oxygen. Doc Bruce Reid there has been with the Bombers for many, many years.
Just talked about the weapon. He was there too, BT.
He's the man responsible for their lower half conditioning.
Yeah.
Hips, backsides, being able to hold their ground. Rewalt down to Jones. Jones goes wide to Armitage, had to centre it. Cozzy just slipped, allowed Fletcher the real good position.
Yeah, he did slip, Cozzy, but the kick didn't go to his advantage. He was leading up the middle of the ground, and the kick actually went Fletcher's side, so it didn't help him.
Still like the fact, though, that at all, Fletcher doesn't get a mark there, build his confidence and rebound it back the other way. He's still big enough and strong enough to make sure that was brought to ground.
Hocking, bit of space here. Melksham, he can keep going if he wants. Unselfishly looking for Hill, but did not put it out in front. He had to stand and wait. Remus, Jeddah, busting the tackle. Straight, little right foot banana. Got it there to Davey, and Davey will kick from point-blank range. I thought he was going the right banana goal, but he saw Alwyn Davey when none of us did.
He's kicked a goal every game he's played this year, BT. He's had a consistent year, Alwyn Davey.
Davey to trim that margin back to 23 points, and he does.
Desperately needed that, the Bombers, with 3 minutes remaining in the first half of this game. It stops a run of 5 unanswered previously for the St Kilda Football Club. And with Hurley getting some treatment on the interchange bench, she's standing up now, about to come back on. They may have to get more goals through Jeddah and through their Davey and their smalls.
Hurley wanting to get back on the ground. Dean Wallace back for his first game since his club suspension for that gambling issue of last year. Great to see the Bombers backing him as one of their coaches. Umpire Matt Stevic puts it on the turf in the middle. Del Santo looking for the clearance. Watson went back through traffic. McAvoy did well to Del Santo. Del Santo now long for Cozzy. Milne's got it. Can he take Fletcher on and turn him inside out? He does. Rewalt, unselfishly done by Stevie Milne.
It wasn't selfish, and it was really clever as well. He was able to turn Fletcher around. And they've got a great understanding, these two. They've stood alongside each other for almost their entire career, Milne and Rewalt. I've been watching him pretty closely tonight. Milne never, ever gets in the leading space of Rewalt. He just makes sure he has clear air, and he would have enjoyed this little pass.
Rewalt needs to finish this, and he does. He knew it from the moment it left the boot.
Yeah, well, he's had a good night, Nick Rewalt.
I think we've got a blood rule here as well. Our barrel boy umpire signalling that there's someone with blood, and he's telling Fletcher he's got to go off the ground, but it's got to be flowing blood. It doesn't even matter if there's a speck of blood on him. It has to be flowing blood. So
just get it covered up next time a trainer's near you. Okay?
Mate,
that's
Barrel
exactly
Boy.
right.
He's all over it, Barrel Boy.
Barrel boy, yeah. So Dusty just wiping it off. So Barrel Boy, the goal umpire on signal the goal, says blood rule. Fletcher's got to go from the ground, but not a correct call because it has to be flowing blood, and Fletcher didn't have flowing blood. Now who's on the bench down there these days, Darce? But anyway,
I'm assuming that's the AFL ground manager getting involved.
And just having a chat to our own Lingy. So Lingy, it might be about the shirt. They might be wanting to remove him from the stadium. As a result of that, I'm not sure. Is that true, Lingy? What was all that about?
I have absolutely no idea what was happening then, boys. I was getting chatted to there by a lovely young lady.
Are you comfortable in the pink shirt, Lingy? It's sort of fairly fetching.
Looks
Not
like he
wrapped
hasn't
with
got
the
a
red
shirt
shirt.
on.
Ball in dispute here at the moment.
They've stitched you up, Lingy. Wardrobe.
Well, maybe that was a pitch invader because Lingy's very popular with our female audience. So I think perhaps that young lady couldn't contain herself. She's jumped the fence and wanted to spend a bit of time with Lingy.
That was a pitch invader.
It was BT. She was being politely escorted from the ground, but she wanted to stop and have a chat with me.
That is remarkable that someone can walk onto the ground on the boundary, speak with Lingy, and until right at the end, no one knew.
He's a magnet, Lingy. He tracks everyone.
He has that effect on women, Lingy.
An absolute magnet.
Boy, it's remarkable. Jones goes down the line and a high fly over the top. Snyder to Del Santo, and Del Santo over the line. So a 29-point St Kilda lead, and here it is. You can see the security there. She's showing some sort of pass, and she's just standing on the bench looking at the players, looking official, and the security. If that was a bloke, honestly, they'd have the bloke in a headlock, handcuffs, and be back in the back of a paddy wagon by now.
What are you suggesting? That should have happened in that situation?
Kick goes into Hill, and Hill takes the mark.
So this is important with 38 seconds ticking down on the clock. All of the momentum as we take a look again. There's some confused faces down there. She's saying, where's Lingy? I want to see Lingy. I heard he's here. Let me have a chat to him.
So being removed there. A rather remarkable invader. Here is Hill to stem the bleeding for the Bombers, more importantly. 30 metres out. Kick on the way is good. And Hill kicks a big goal near half-time. Well done, the Bombers, and Hill trimming the lead to 23 points.
Well, that's what Das wanted David Hill to do, to get involved. And he's done that, but they're just trying to stretch the Saints' defence tonight. Carlisle's been down there, David Hill. We know Hurley's down there also.
They're very capable of kicking goals, David Hill. And it's a matchup that I reckon he'll like, because Sam Fisher's now got to get him, and he's a massive, massive unit. And he's trying to clear a bit of space. As Nick Revolt's pushed himself back, Richo, on this last bounce into loose man in defence.
Yeah, he just wants to make sure that they don't get a quick clearance and take a mark inside 50.
Back in the middle for this last 6 or 7 seconds. I tell you what, the Saints here can score. Cozzy, if he can get it around the body, the handball siren goes. Just as the Saints were into attack, and an entertaining half of football. That quarter, the Saints kicked 4 goals to the Bombers 1, and that 1 goal came in the last half minute of the quarter. He's got some concerns, James Herdnick. Rewalt's team are up and about. Del Santo doing a nice job as well. Here at half-time, it's St Kilda leading the Bombers by 23 points. Find out tomorrow when we get the feedback. Start of the second half, 23-point lead for the Saints. Good quarter of football about to come your way. Hill with a clear tap. Gilbert, there is Sard in the action. Heppel, a little spinning pirouette out of trouble. And now Hooker. Wide ball, Lovett Murray's got it all to do, got a poor set. Hill tried to help Lovett Murray then, but just wasn't aware. And now Rewalt with a handball over the top to Sipos. Sipos goes inside 50, looking for Milne and finding him.
Watch for the play on here, Milne.
Definitely Will Das runs around to the right-hand side. A little low bender. He went along the ground and the bounce got him. It's a goal. Unusual way to do it.
Well, that was a great kick in there from Sipos, but it started again with big boy McAvoy here. He handballed it to Rewalt, got it over the top to Sipos, and this kick here was just an absolute ripper to Milne. It was wide into the pocket, but it doesn't matter when you've got the skills of Stephen Milne. We know he does this every single time. He always plays. I've got a little bit lucky there with the bounce, but
a little bit slow, the Saints, I should say the Bombers, where he knew he was going to play on. Everyone in the stadium knew he was going to play on. He just got that extra bit of space and finished. Danny Frawley, former Saints captain, he's let us know that it's a Saints home game, he says to Andrew Mackie, and that is why the Bombers have to change their strip.
Tuning in, the Spud, we like the former great youngest and longest serving captain of the Saints, tuning in to watch a bit of 7-footy. Around the corner, looking for Rewalt. In comes Dempsey. Knock off the ground, Hooker. Hocking just got bowled over. The Saints, Del Santo trying to kick it a little low and hard. Jack Stephen trying to keep his feet in time to get it to Montagna. Good tackle. Now what can the Bombers do in the turnover? Advantage won't be paid.
See, that's interesting, isn't it? Because they absolutely took advantage, the Bombers. Now, you do it at your own risk. The umpire said, didn't turn out well for you. You can have another crack at it. That was the old rule.
Fair to say that I think players are confused, us. Most people watching footy are. Stanton looking for and not quite getting Hill.
If you take the advantage and it doesn't work out, that's bad luck.
Simpkin tidying up to Rewalt.
That might have been a mistake, I'd say. You can't call it back.
Rewalt goes inside with a nice kick to Sard. Could have given it on to Sipos. Little kick to Stevie Milne. Overcommitting was Hardingham. Milne went back and got it. Needed to get rid of the tackle. Lovett Murray got him. Did he hang on too long? The umpire said yes, he did.
Never took possession of the ball. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, never took possession of the ball, says Simon Meredith.
He's getting busy now, Milne. It's causing them some real trouble.
I think he did take possession of the ball. He lost and got knocked out in the tackle.
Lovett Murray knocked the ball out when he tackled him.
He picks it up off the ground, knocks it out in the tackle. He did have possession of the ball, and that technically is wrong. Milne comes in directly in front. Needs the journey, got it. He's got 3 tonight, Stevie Milne.
Great start, Das, to the second half. Stephen Milne, the first 2 goals, and this is out to nearly a 6-goal margin now. A lot of work for the Bombers to do to get back into this.
Great to see little Milne, isn't it? 250th game. We've spoken a lot about him tonight. The hardest role to be consistent at, and he needs to be celebrated a little more, I reckon.
So Stevie Milne kicks goal number 520. Not too many people in the game have kicked 520, Richo. You're one of them.
Yeah, it's small forwards especially. I think the only 2 small forwards in front of him are Kevin Bartlett and Lee Matthews, and they obviously are absolute champions of the game. They played on ball.
On ball most of their careers, only went forward towards the end.
How good's Lee Matthews? Played on ball fair majority of his career and kicked over 900 goals.
Yeah, amazing effort. KB likewise. Lenny Hayes. Graham gets a really good look. Took a little long getting rid of the kick. Good smother by Watson. Just a little uncertain with the hands at the moment. Dempsey gave it straight up to Lenny. Hayes goes wide and the Saints have got numbers. Sipos says, protect me and escort me down the ground. And there's a behind-the-play incident. Lenny Hayes has been set on his backside. Now this is going to cause a mini fracas here.
Oh, they're coming from everywhere here, Bristle. Look at them go.
They don't like to see their hero Lenny put on the deck. And getting a little angry as a result.
50-metre pain, okay?
Targeting Hocking.
Okay.
50-metre penalty as well. Sard will kick a certain goal and Hayes will come from the ground. So blood rule here. Hayes is running under his own steam from the ground. Gets to the bench, so
50
now
metre was paid when you were bumped down, okay?
50-metre paid is the umpires telling Ahmed Sard there. We wait for the blood rule to be met. And there it is, Hocking.
Yeah.
Fairway off the ball. Sard kicks the goal for the Saints. And they lead it by 41 points. A game-high margin here. Let's see that incident again. Lenny Hayes has come from the ground as a result, but he looks okay. And left of frame, have a look at this. Hayes gives Howlett one, and then Hocking, unsuspecting, was Hayes. What do you think, boys?
It's a bit of a cheap shot, that one from Heath Hocking. Look, he's got the role of trying to stop him, trying to stop his run, but there's a little bit more on that. Blindsided Lenny Hayes, and he'll be in a bit of strife for that one.
You would think so, and that we know that as soon as you make contact with the head, you're in a little bit of trouble, and clearly that looked like it occurred.
If Lenny Hayes had knew it was coming, he probably would have been okay, because he would have been able to hold himself up.
He's as hard as a cat's head, Lenny Hayes, so he'll be fine, and that's the good news for Hocking. It wasn't spiteful, just off the footy, something to look at.
Here's Sard again, could have gone for home, unselfishly to Wilkes, who's dropped the mark. He's got to play on around the corner. Howlett gets back. It's a game-high 41 points at the moment. The Bombers in tatters.
Yeah, they are. I mean, the 3 games they've lost have been by a point, 6 points and 4 points. They're getting smashed here tonight by the side that has come with a lot more spirit, a lot more competitive nature. They've got to respond here, the Bombers.
And a real plan. Come with a real style to beat Essendon tonight, the Saints.
Jakey Melksham with a horrible kick. Hurley tries to get out in front and earn the ball, and he does with his aggressive running nature. The handball was too hot for Dempsey. Gave it back to Hurley. Good smother by the Saints. I think it was Jack Stephen out of the corner of my eye. It was. Back inside, but big boy McAvoy is there.
He's done that 4 or 5 times tonight, McAvoy, just putting himself in the right positions behind the football.
Great challenge for Essendon now. We talk about them being a potential top 4 team. Well, they've got to rise now. That St Kilda playing terrific footy. Essendon now being quite undisciplined with what they're doing. They've got to pull this game back into line, otherwise it'll get away from them.
What's the first thing you do, Lingy, to try and get them to pull this thing back into line? What is it missing from the Bombers right now?
You've got to bring it back to your basics, BT. First of all, get rid of all the undisciplined stuff and then bring it back into a contest. Aim to work on your defensive play and then start getting the ball in your hands on the back of that type of work.
There is Gilbert. Yet another opportunity, a horrible-looking kick, and Hardingham was able to restrict its penetration.
This is what they've shut down perfectly tonight, the Bombers. They've made them go back. Now, Hepp was trying to get something going here. High risk there, turning, twisting inside out. But
tried to go up the inside, not there.
And they forced them out wide perfectly.
Lingy mentioned it in the first half, and that was a perfect example. And even that kick there, to get it back inside was a risk, wasn't it?
Yep. And I think James Hird has said to them, I don't care what sort of pressure you're under, you come back through the corridor, start taking the game on. And in doing that, they've actually exposed themselves, and they've been scored heavily so far to start the second half.
Well, this is better. David Hill has gone forward, and he's making McAvoy defend now.
Love it, Murray. Sends one really high. Hill, good position.
There you go.
Got rid of his man in the side. And that's why it wasn't called a push.
Great call, Richo. Brilliant call. They needed to engage McAvoy. Hill did it perfectly.
So this, to stem the bleeding here, Hill lines up. 25 metres out, kick on the way, and he gets it for the Bombers. Boy, did they need that.
Yeah, good to see David Hill push forward and engage McAvoy, who I reckon has been sensational tonight. Got himself in the right spots, and the Bombers ruckman haven't responded well enough, but that's the right play. You've got to man him up, got to make him accountable, and then he gets nervous. He doesn't want to play full back on these two big boys.
Why did it take so long to do that, Dust? 2.5 quarters, and the first time it happens, you get a goal out of it.
Four goals kicked in the quarter, 3 of those by the Saints. Hill gets the first one for the Bombers here at the 9-minute mark of this quarter. Back to a 35-point margin. Pajastevic with a nice upright ball in the middle. Look at Ryder. Little one out the back door. It was good, wasn't it? Lonigan. They play on here. Melksham gets a look. Low 50, open, goal square. Bombers are back in business.
Couple of quick ones in a row are exactly what they needed. And don't underestimate this side's ability to come back from big margins. A lot of faith, well coached. They've had an extraordinary year. Just a little bit of lip going on there. Cozzy and Jake Melksham cross paths and give each other a bit of a spray.
And this is what they needed, a couple of quick goals. They get the clearance. Lonigan's been good in there. Melksham follows up and kicks a nice goal on the run.
Got consecutive goals here. Back in the middle. Jones puts an end to a possible third consecutive clearance, and now Jack Stevens gets a run. Little kick around the corner to Rewald. Has he got the hands to hold on to it? No. Hardingham. Hooker. Retreated. Put Lonigan under enormous pressure. Mark taken by Geary.
Strange kick from Lonigan under enormous pressure. He's tried to toe poke one on his left, 15 metres. That had to go as far out as he could.
Kick to the top of the square. Ryder crushes over the top of Kaczynski. There's Sipos near the boundary line. Went over.
It's been good tonight, Sipos. Liked his game a lot. The Saints fans are pretty happy with him too. Roman Elias has just let us know. If you're a Saints supporter, you'll love what you see from Sipos. I reckon he's been really solid tonight.
Still no activation on the subs. Now Watson took him on then. He didn't handball it a kick, and he was very, very lucky. Fletcher. Kick out of play to goes to Wilkes. Jetta's there, all over him. Well done to Hayes, back in this game. Dempsey went to ground, must get rid of it. Went to safety of the behind line. So Courtney Dempsey free kick here.
Knee in the back. Courtney Dempsey.
Knee in the back against Simon Meredith. Now Hardingham. Got it on here.
And they've got a bit of a gap here. If they can get it through, they're out the back. Davies all on his own inside 50.
Gee, Melksham was out there. That kick was never going to make the difference to Davey. And Melksham saying, why not me out wide? And I agree.
It was the wrong option, wasn't it? It had to go through Melksham to get to Davey.
It did, and he could have run to goal and separated the defenders. Well done by Simpkin to get in the middle of it. Del Santo, a nice little chiseler out wide. The arms were taken from Stephen there. The advantage is paid. Stephen gets on the bike, slows. Too far, said the umpire. Gee, they're strict tonight. Boy, have a look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
That's harsh, isn't it?
Boy, thought he avoided the tackle and then tried to straighten.
It's normally when you go that extra bit after that, again, after you have had a chance to steady, they have been very, very much to the letter of the law tonight, the umpires.
He takes little steps too, Stephen.
Gee, great crowd we've got in this stadium tonight as well. Got to be in the high 40s, I would have thought. Saturday night footy, two high-drawing teams here, hocking. Little kick out wide, Sipos to keep it alive. Throw it in, so plenty of time left in this quarter. Bombers have kicked the last two after Saints got the first three. Armitage, did he get tackled high? I thought he did. Hocking was the tackler, and
No prior.
no prior opportunity, said the umpire.
The Saints midfielders have done a really nice job tonight as well. Watson's had 14, Stanton's had 14, but not that real influence on a game that they have had in the other parts of the year. They've just been able to restrict any of that outside run that has set up so many wins this year for the Bombers.
So, Lingy, is this what you're talking about from the Bombers? They've now tightened the game up, and now they're ready to go into attack mode.
Absolutely, BT. I've loved what they've done. This last 5 minutes, the game's just settled down a bit. They've won some crucial contests. They've obviously kicked 2 goals as well. If they can keep going like that, they can work their way back into this game of footy. Kick another 1 or 2, and they're right back in this one.
Hocking. Nice kick to Hill, who marks. Colliding there, and he looks gone. Is that Melksham or Remus down? Both those players have had an accidental head contact. I reckon they've been knocked out. Hurley fumbles the chest mark.
Remus and Simpkin, BT.
Yeah, have a look at this. Head contact. Oh, that is horrible.
Simpkins got himself up to his feet.
Oh, it's a shocker, that is.
No.
That is a car crash.
That is absolutely terrible. A dead-on head clash. He's lucky to get up, Simpkin, I can tell you.
What an effort that is.
Remus has not moved. Doc Larkin's down there at ground level.
Yeah, they'll be going through the protocol, Brian. You imagine this is going to have to stop the game with Remus. He's face down at the moment. They need to check his airway, so you can see the Dr. Brendan De Morton there. He's actually face down, which is not a great position. Just watch the collision here. Absolutely unprotected. So temple to temple. Simpkin was already got a knock earlier, but they're just now obviously talking to him. He is awake.
Now, Doc, why the reluctance to call for stretcher here and get him back to his feet and not on the stretcher?
Well, I don't know what the conversation's going on out there, Brian, but they must be sure that he's giving good communication with them.
Okay.
And if they think he's steady, and he's obviously talking to them because he's awake.
Yep.
So he's more steady getting off. So that's the call they've made.
That's a great sign, isn't it, Doc, to be able to walk off under your own steam after a sickening collision. And as you say, Doc, he's got a lot of conversation happening there with the doctors as James Hird looks on.
And real common sense here, guys. The stretcher obviously hasn't been called, so they don't need to stop the game, but the player's safety is the #1 thing. They've stopped the game, make sure he gets off the ground safely and looked after.
Ricky Dyson warming up there as part of the sub. Lingy will be all over that if he gets handed or gets asked to take the vest off. Remus looking like it. Doc, you think a clash like that could be a cheekbone or anything, couldn't it?
Well, that's right, Brian. He got hit very hard in that temple bone. So they will go through the orientation concussion assessment quickly, and then they'll decide if he needs the full one downstairs now.
Okay. So there he is on the bench, Remus, being spoken to by both doctors. And, gee, they give great first aid care. Dean Wallace wants to report to the coaches there. You can see him asking Remus about his condition. Dino, just give him a break. Just give him a minute off.
30-second spell just to see if he knows his own name.
Oh, boy. Armitage back in business here. Now, the Bombers have just started to turn the tide in the last 5 or 6 minutes of this game. And let's see what they can fathom out of this. Del Santo with a high ball to the wing and push there by Hooker. Free kick, Wilkes. All of the players move from one end to the other. Jack Stephen.
Yeah, this will be a slow play. The Saints will probably try and transfer the ball across to this side of the ground.
Stephen goes wide and high, looking for Cozzy, who's, in fact, it was Armitage behind. Lenny Hayes kept the arms free. Del Santo knew there was help on the inside. That's why he tried to tap it to Armitage and Jones. Disputed ball.
Hasn't been happy all night, Michael Hurley, has he? We might get straight down to Doc Larkins. How is he, Doc?
Well, he's obviously feeling something not happy. Look, they haven't had him off the ground other than for treatment, so he's obviously got a trigger spot or a tight spot. They're doing all this release work, trying to see if he can get through the game.
Well, they don't want him to do a hamstring. He has had hamstring trouble, and he's been getting it worked on all night, hasn't he?
Well, that's the opposite one there now. That's the left hamstring, isn't it?
Before the game, we saw him having some heat rubbed onto his right hamstring.
Ricky Dyson circling the bench there, saying, give me a go. I want to get on. I want to get on. Well won there by Snyder. And Howlett was perhaps tackled high, but
well, maybe it's time for James Hird and the coaching staff just to think outside the square a little bit. We saw Carlton win last night with Hampson went down, and they were forced to play a really small, hard-running forward line. Well, if Hurley isn't able to compete, maybe they've just got to bite the bullet and say, OK, let's structure up in a really different way, see if we can give the Saints defence something they didn't expect.
Big boy McAvoy sends one forward bound for the Saints. It's punch back. Look at the Bomber Guernseys around this. Jones got in the middle of them, though. Handball was OK to Montagna, and he got one high. Good call. Montagna won't go the journey from there.
Dustin Fletcher's loose behind the ball now.
Montagna just stands it up. Cossey's the target. Hooker the puncher. Goes again, and he's marked his own ball.
It's not panic stations for Essendon. There's a lot of time in this game, and we've seen them really compete and come back for big margins already this year. But I'm just feeling as though tonight they need to try something differently. Fletcher's had his hands full in defence. Maybe tonight you swing Fletcher forward.
Another goal. They're back in it here, Das. He played on there. This is the side, Essendon, capable of kicking 5 goals in 5 minutes.
Well, we only about 3 weeks ago here at Etihad Stadium, that 8-goal last quarter against the Swans. We know they can score really quickly.
So the doctor's talking on the bench there as well about Hurley. They've got Remus, remember, down, having a look at him as well. And there is Remus. He's back on the bench, Doc.
He is, and Doc Reed's on the phone to the coach's box just behind him there, you can see. So they're still trying to decide what they're going to do there. Obviously, it looks like he's just going to give him a few minutes, I would think, just to see how he's orientating. He's not too bad at the moment, Brian.
Perfect explanation of what is happening. I wonder how long they give him before they do activate Das.
Yeah, they're really in decision mode at the moment, I think, as well, with Hurley sitting there too. He's still getting worked on. Do they bite the bullet, activate Dyson? I think it's just about time.
There is Saad, got around one, works it back inside. Ball had a little bit too much height, used his body really well, Snyder then, almost pulled it off. Hibberd got it, good tackle there by Snyder. Ball was held in the tackle. No prior opportunity, said the umpire. And here is decision time on the bench now. Lonigan, Remus and Hurley all there, all in discussion with the medical staff. So they just are trying to work out the timing of what they've got planned, I think.
Hurley's taken the glove off, and that is not a great sign.
Michael Hurley, boys, is being subbed off the ground, so Ricky Dyson will be coming on. It's Michael Hurley who's the man coming off.
Now, that's the decision they had to make. Remus is the injured player. We know Hurley's been getting treatment all night, and they've decided that Remus might be able to play. That's the decision they've made, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because they don't want to risk Hurley as a result, but it's going to be tough up forward for them now. Here's Geary. A real interesting tactic there from the Bombers. Kick wide to Jones, who'll mark.
Just getting a lot of reminders here on Twitter as well, BT, that Cranberry's such a huge loss. We haven't spoken about him tonight. He's put a lot more pressure on Hurley. 2-on-1 on him all night tonight.
Sipos to Kaczynski. Got a hands on it. He'll get a free here. Got him high. Advantage paid and the miss.
No.
Boy. The advantage was paid and they messed it up.
Do you reckon Cossey would be happy with that?
Oh, boy. Here's Geary banging through Dempsey. They've got the outlet here. The handball had to be good. They've got it to a left footer and Hocking. Hocking goes over the top to Melcham. He needs a clean sit on the ball. He gathers. Can he straighten up? Dempster pushed him wide. Great pressure from Dempster, who never gave up.
Yeah, terrific by Dempster. I thought that Melcham was away there. He is quick, Melcham, but she just stuck at it, Dempster, and just enough referred pressure.
Gee, that was well done. As you say, the referred pressure, Richo, causing the miss. Just didn't allow him to straighten really straight.
He couldn't steady. He just needed to have 1 or 2 steadying steps, but the chase from Dempster didn't allow him to do that. There's Hurley heading down into the rooms.
It's time for a shower for Michael Hurley. Off hands Watson. That kick has to be perfect, and it is to Dyson. Lonigan. The run of Dempsey around the outside. Hill floating wide. Look at Ryder and Hill combining. The two big boys. Jetta inside. That should have been a kick in my book. Jetta had to go and get it, and they messed it up here, the Bombers. Howlett got a bit of a high tackle on big boy McAvoy.
Well, I think if I was James Hird, I'd go to Ryder I'd go to Hill, and I'd be really putting on those two at three-quarter time. They've been beaten by McAvoy. They haven't really got involved in the game enough, and if they are to come home, they've got to get more out of both of them.
Ball up, 30 metres out from the Bomber goal line. Ryder, desperate to get it back in the corridor. Montagna just goes the low spiral, but Hooker's there. Rewalt did really well. Now there's no one between he and the goal. Rewalt from 50 with a low ball. It's got to bounce, bounce, bounce. Goal! Rewalt, big time goal. Barrel Boy says yes.
Well done, Nick Rewalt. I thought he may have gone inboard to Saad there, who was running with him to support, but he decided to have a shot on goal. Just had enough on it to bounce over the goal line. It was a good kick in the end from Nick. Well, here it is here from the high angle, and you can see Saad on Nick's left there. I thought he may have gone the handball over, but in the end made the right decision, finished it off, kicked the goal.
So here we go again. The Saints with the clearance back out to a 35-point lead. Strong effort. Wilkes around the corner. Fletcher will get back and gobble this up.
Good shot of what Dustin Fletcher's got in front of him here in his own defensive 50. And see the movement on the mark. Kaczynski's jumping up and down, dancing around, getting in Fletcher's face. And they're forcing them all night to take really hard, short options. There's no run. And once again, there's just that pressure. Lenny Hayes smothering it over the boundary line. They really have brought a great plan tonight, Richo, and they've executed it beautifully. Yeah,
well, Sam Fisher told us in the warm-up that was what they were going to do, and they've backed it up. They've done it beautifully.
Big boy McAvoy, off hands here, shot, goal, it's there, Milne's got it.
Four goals, a little tip rat, Stephen Milne in game 250. Have a look at him. Fantastic to see. He has put together a night to remember on his 250th. And this is going towards being a massive win for the Saints. They need to stay in touch with the 8. Getting the job done beautifully right here at the moment.
Oh, how many times you've seen Stephen Milne? He just got on the move at the stoppage and there was no touch on him. You can't give him any space around stoppages inside the forward 50. He's on his way to a little bag here. 4 goals, 1.
The Saints have done really well here. Back out by 41 to consolidate their lead, and the Bombers' good work is undone. Free kick will come back to Essendon. 4.5 minutes in this quarter, and that wasn't a good give back by Hill. Stanton was disappointed in it. And given the Saints the time to get back and man up now.
What do you qualify? When can you say you've kicked a bag? Is it 5? I reckon it starts at 5.
It's nearly 6, I reckon,
is
a bag. Yeah.
She's I'd qualify for 5, I reckon.
Yeah, 6 or 7. I'm a bit tougher marker than you, Richo, but of course these days probably 5 is the modern bag because I don't kick
It's
bags.
definitely a bag. It's a little sports bag 5. And you get up into the suitcase sort of territory, 8, 9.
A couple of head wobbling forwards I'm sitting in between here at the moment, waxing lyrical about themselves. Hey, we're getting a lot of tweets here tonight in regards to Peter Dacos. I'll come back to it in a minute.
Kick by Hill. Stikos has taken the mark against Dempsey and almost 50 to go with it.
And they sound like this. Glyn Ford, does Peter Dacos qualify as a small forward? If so, 549 goals also puts him in front of Milne.
Absolutely does. Now, Dakes played on the ball, but he played as a high half forward when he was in the prime of his career and then went deeper in the last year or two.
Kicked 90 goals in a
97,
season.
I think he kicked in 1 year.
Was that the year they won the premiership?
I think it was.
Yeah.
I think it was that year.
You were there, BT, that year?
That was the year where BT just played as a decoy, I think,
That's
boys.
right.
Before actually, Lingy, I didn't play at all that year, so thanks. Bo Wilkes free here. Hold of the arm, said the umpire. So the Saints at the moment playing all over the top of the Bombers. Hibberd went back very gingerly indeed. Here's Milne, got tackled high, should have got a free. Still kicked the goal. Stevie's kicked 5. He's one short of the bag.
I reckon he has kicked the bag. 5's a bag in my book, and Milne's kicked it. That's his highest tally for this season, and what a great night for him to do it. His 250th game, 5 goals. What a champion. He's a champion, Stephen Milne, as a small forward. I've got no doubt about that.
Should have got the free, I reckon. So Stevie Milne. What about this from the little man? His 5th goal. Should have got the free there. Recovery was great. Barrel Boy got his chest out of the way, and Mildy slid it through for his 5th. One short of the bag. Armitage.
All right, we might get people to tweet in whether they think 5's a bag or 6. I reckon 5 is.
Well, that takes him to 522 career goals for Stephen Milne in his 250 games, and he's creeping up on the 44th on the all-time list, which is one Bristleman, Brian Taylor, has just flipped me a little note and said, I'm sitting on 527.
You are kidding yourself, BT.
Just quietly hope he doesn't get any more. Here is Del Santo. High ball. Here's Milne again. Gave Hardingham a bit of a push.
1 metre, Mark. Steve, 1 metre. Play on.
Only 40th, was it?
44th.
Goes wide, Heppel. They have been without luck down the corridor tonight. The Saints have forced them wide every time. Now look, Melksham looks there, can't get there, has to go high and wide.
Yeah, and that's what they've forced them to do. They just can't get that transition through the middle that they've been so good at this year.
Exactly right, boys. Even though Heppel's taken this mark, that's a win for St Kilda. They've slowed Essendon up. They've got nowhere to go. This one goes long down the line.
Does indeed, and Fisher was able to get his man under the ball.
Stanton is normally that man linking through the middle, getting the marks. He's the most marks in the competition, Stanton, but only 2 tonight, and he normally gets them in that midfield area.
Fisher goes down the line. Big leap there by Hibberd. Snyder ran into the brick wall that was Howlett, and now Armitage trying to bore a hole through them. And another ball up. So Reema's back on the field, which is pretty remarkable given that collision, and that he did lie motionless for quite a while. He's back on the field in the same quarter that he went off.
Remarkable recovery, that is. And in good hands of medical staff. They obviously had enough assurance that he was going to be fine. How brave are the modern players?
Yeah. You wouldn't want to get back out there and go again, would you? So the advantage won't be paid. Watson's got the free. Time's starting to run out now. A minute to go in this quarter, and the Saints have extended their lead from 23 to 47 in this quarter. And they've played brilliant footy. Heppel winds it up and goes deep inside. Hill's there. Hardingham went high over the top and punched through for a behind in the end. So back to a 46-point margin now.
Let's have a look at the Armitage tackle here.
Bit of a sling or not? Nah. Good tackle. Didn't have it, but free kick was paid. So the Saints are aware of the clock here. And they know that they don't need to concede any more goals in this quarter. And McAvoy's been a main reason. Got Hill perhaps a little higher then. Cozzy's chicken-winged almost. Somehow got rid of it. Heppel to Davey. There's time here. 27 seconds. Smother off the boot by Owen Davey. Graham went and tidied it up. Handball back and to the safety of the boundary from Gwilt.
Getting a bit of feedback on the bag at 5 scenario, BT.
Of course, you'll read them out and it'll favour you.
Travis Hull, he says 5 is definitely a bag. BT's a clown.
Oh, well.
Well said, Travis.
It's a harder marker, or just expect a little more. But anyway, Jones, you're part snag, Richo. Things come easy in your life. Never had to buy your own car. Never had to buy your own toothpaste. Nothing. Just got it handed on a platter. Here's Jakey Carlisle. Get a look at it after the 3/4 time siren.
It's barrel time, Brian. I don't reckon he can make the journey with a drop punt.
Well, I think he can, Das.
No. No, he'll need to go the barrel.
Now, he's just asked Fletcher. He said, drop punt or not? Now, he's in two minds. He's setting up for the barrel. Is it a barrel?
It's a barrel.
It is a barrel. One hand higher than the other. Thumbs at either end of the laces. Carlisle for the barrel from inside 50. He went the drop punt. He changed at the last minute. Boy, I reckon he was setting up for the drop punt. You've read it long, Dust.
Well, he should have gone the barrel because he came up a metre short, and tell you what, they might have got a little injection on three-quarter time. They've got a massive job ahead of them, the Bombers. Full credit to the Saints. They have been sensational. They lead by 46 points.
Brendan Favola has tweeted in. He says 5 is a bag of snags.
There you go.
Ricky boy.
Fev knows he kicks plenty of bags.
Here at three-quarter time, the Saints 15-6, 96. Lead the Bombers 7-8-50.
Quicker, a bit more adventurous with the ball movement.
Thanks for your time, Bom.
Thank you, Cameron.
Start of the last quarter about to get underway here. It is the Saints by 46 points. McAvoy in the middle, Del Santo to Hayes. Hayes around the corner deep, and Jakey Carlisle. Let's get down to Dr. Larkins on boundary.
Yeah, Kyle Reamer's about to have his left eye checked for a second time. He's complaining of some visual troubles out of the left eye, so he's on the bench. But we know he got a massive hit, Brian. He has been playing. It's just the left eye vision they're checking.
Okay, kick around the corner comes to Howlett. Off hands Watson. Advantages paid. Jett has got clear space in front. He can go all the way. Get it inside 50. 45 and closing. That had too much bend.
Well, the Swans game, they were 47 points down at three-quarter time, 46 tonight.
There's the blurred vision saying to the medical staff, I can't see properly. And that is not a good sign. And I would think as a result of that, surely he won't play again tonight. Surprised he even got back out there. Gilbert from the back half of the top of Wilkes, knocked down Del Santo.
Del's back on Jobe Watson to start this last quarter. He's having a good night, Del. He's up to 22. He's had the 5 clearances. He's spent a fair bit of time on Jobe Watson tonight. It's been a win for the Saints, that battle.
McAvoy's been good as well, knocking this ball down at the feet, and umpires will ball it up.
Boys, just quickly, Farron Ray is on the ground for the Saints with James Wilkes, the man off.
Okay, so Wilkes subbed out.
See, Hocking wants to get to Del. So just the 4-way run around there at the moment with Lenny Hayes.
Hayes went to try and win the ball, and no one went with him, but just couldn't line it up. So the Bombers need to get active very quickly here. And the Saints, who were in 8th position going into this game, have done a really good job against a team that plays exceptional footy at this ground. I reckon they've lost 2 of their last 17 or thereabouts here at this ground, I think, from memory, the Bombers. So Saints also like this venue.
Yeah, they certainly do. The Bombers had the extra man at that stoppage here on the wing. Sam Fisher sitting off behind the ball loose. The Bombers have sent their extra man into the stoppage.
Won 13 of its 15 games at this venue under James Hird, the Bombers. Kick goes inside 50, right of the spoiler. Trying to work his way through traffic there was Montagna.
Going to get a free kick here. Dyson Heppel went in a little lower and harder. I think that would have been something James Hird would have been very keen to establish, and that is a real home ground advantage. When he played in the great Essendon sides in 2000, as Heppel turns this one over, they never got beaten here.
Cozzy grabs the ball, didn't go for home, went to Wilkes. He was being held. Fletcher's not happy, but it looked like he had a piece of the arm. Fletcher doesn't agree.
It's a couple of times tonight that Dustin's been caught out in front of his man, lost sight of the ball. As soon as you turn your back like that as a defender, you're in a lot of trouble. He gave away a free kick to Cozzy late in that 3rd quarter, and that was an obvious free kick.
So Bo Wilkes will kick a certain goal for the Saints, so he did his best to miss it, but he has converted. 51-point St Kilda lead.
Well, I heard he's decided to come and take a little look from ground level, get around his players a bit more, get a bit of time with the weapon. The weapon's a bit down in the dumps tonight too. Normally his body language is right up there regardless of the situation.
Bring straight back.
Bit of a sad sight that. Remus will take no further part. Hurley in the back row there. He'll take no further part. Been subbed out of the game. Doc Larkins.
Yeah, Remus put the tracksuit top on 2 minutes ago, Brian. That would suggest that blurred vision's going to keep him out. You just saw Hurley sitting behind him, already out with the left hamstring.
So the Bombers haven't kicked a goal since about the 10-minute mark of the third quarter. And they don't look likely to kick one here at the moment. Geary to Kazitsky. As he around the corner, thought about the wider ball. That's the better option, the more dangerous option, as Del Santo had to work back carefully. Wilkes to Sard. Goal. 57-point lead.
You call the spot on BT. He had an option, Wilkes out wide in the pocket. Ignored it. It's the oldest fashioned kick in the book. Long to the goal square, direct one-on-one. You get a front and centre goal, Richard. It's as simple as that.
He put it a long way in the air, Costy, and it ended up being a good kick. Defenders don't like sitting under those high balls and caused a spillage, and Sard did what he had to do as a small forward, mopped it up, kicked a good goal.
You call the spot on here, BT. He had an option out wide in the pocket that he ignored. Kazitsky went with a long high one just out of the goal square, front and centre, Crum goal. That's often the way finals are played, and I think they'll be pretty excited the way this one's worked out for them so far, the Saints.
Sard goes inside 50. Hibberd was there trying to back out the Bombers stand. I tell you what, this is the first time the Bombers have been belted this year. They lost to Collingwood by a point, Melbourne by a goal, Sydney by 4 points. This is the first substantial loss for the Bombers this year.
The next month's interesting for the Bombers. They've got Port in Adelaide next week. Then they've got Geelong, Hawthorn and Adelaide in Adelaide, BT.
Yep, and Carlton, Richmond, Collingwood to finish off with North in the middle. So it is a really tough finish for the Bombers, but they're a top 4 competitive side and they should be able to cope with most of that.
And if I was each of those clubs, I'd be studying exactly what St Kilda's done against them tonight. Slowed up their ball movement, owned the corridor against them, and took the ball off them as soon as they possibly could.
Yeah, his big boy McAvoy, he's played very well tonight.
I've been massively impressed with what he's done tonight, BT, coming up against a dangerous combination.
Looks a little slimmer and more mobile or more athletic or something.
Yeah, he's having a good year before he missed a chunk of time with an injury, and they need him out there. They haven't got a lot of other depth in the ruck stocks. Reece Stanley out as well. You got to remember no Brendan Goddard tonight.
Yep.
Likewise, I suppose the Bombers, they've really missed Cranberry as well.
He's improved a lot, hasn't he, McAvoy, as a ruckman?
Well, if he's not in the team, someone like Blake's got to do the ruck work.
Yeah, and that's not ideal for them.
No, nothing against Blake, but he's just undersized.
He's coming into about the age now, McAvoy. 61 games tonight. So just about enough experience where he's going to start playing some consistent footy.
Jack Carlisle started the night on fire and hasn't seen a lot of it since. Heppel just backs up and just nursing the ball around. Here's Dyson, the sub that's been activated, with Hurley going out of the game with the red vest and Remus also out of action. Lonigan now. Kicked inside, opportunity here for Sard. Armitage went, got a little poker out there, gained a metre or two. Dempster now. Leroy Jetta with a handball over the top. It was more a hope than anything else. Dumped by Jones, mungled it forward. Wilkes in amongst a couple of Bombers. Cozzy went to ground now. He's got one high. It was a careless tackle by Hooker.
Solid year as well, Cozzy.
Look at the crowd. Really good crowd here tonight. Some have left, but that top row is, or the top deck is always the indicator, and they've gone right to the back row tonight in search of seats. A St Kilda home game here tonight.
James Hurd's had enough from down on the bench. He's just run past at a fair clip, heading back up to the box.
Just controlling the tempo here, Lingy.
Yeah, it's the ideal way of doing it. They've done it well all night. They've been patient. They've had composure with the footy. And then on the flip side, oh, that's not a great kick, but on the flip side, they've slowed down Essendon's ball movement.
We'll kick into Watson. Jetta hesitated there when probably he shouldn't have, and now tries to make up for it. Look at the Essendon players appealing for something, and the fans are extremely worried. They've got the gloves on and they're over the face, and they're going, boy, what do we do now? Well, for Bomber fans, it will only be your 4th loss.
They've had a good year, the Bombers.
And your first big one.
Yeah. There's always going to be a blowout game in a season, and maybe this is the one for the Bombers.
Bombers can get a hold of a bit of percentage here tonight as well, and that's going to help them because the top 4 or 5 sides are really, there's percentage separating them at the moment. And the Bombers, in fact, the Bombers will fall behind as a result of this, won't they, those other sides?
Yeah, they will.
4 points behind, yes. The Saints will stay in touch with the 8. Rewalt, strong hands. Don't know what I was saying there, but got it wrong. But they will be 4 points adrift as a result of this from the 3 top sides.
Up to, this will be his 20th touch, Nick Rewalt. 8 marks. Possibility of kicking his 3rd goal. That is just a good, solid night at centre-half forward. His work rate's always at a high level. He's pushed up to the logos. Takes a great contested mark inside the 50. That's 11 contested marks now to 7. They've been really good in the air tonight, the Saints.
Rewalt for his 3rd goal of the night. 2 goals, 1 so far. That looks pretty good, doesn't it? Nick Rewalt has kicked 3 here tonight.
Saints fans up on their feet. Flags are waving. His kickings look really nice tonight, Rewalt. He struck the ball well. Even the one that missed and hit the post was struck beautifully. Takes a little look up the big screen, Rui, and admiring his own work. Very Richo-esque, that.
Oh, yes.
Got Darce getting involved.
Me work. There is the live ladder as it stands right now. They won't collect the 4 Essendon, but St Kilda will, and you can see the result there into the 8.
It's just a great season we're having. Look how tight it is for top 4 positions, but then outside of the 8, you've got Carlton and Richmond, who are also on 28, and North Melbourne. So it's going to go right to the wire this year. It's fantastic.
Hill, a driving ball. Hardingham elevated himself, but couldn't pull off the specky, and now Armitage got a couple of choices as to what he does, and he chips that to the boundary line, almost kicked it out of bounds on the full there. Heard that Lenny Hayes addressed the team before tonight's game because Stevie Milne didn't want to say anything at all, and as a result, Lenny addressed the team on his behalf, I'm led to believe. Graham out to Jack Stephen. And Nick Rewalt marks.
There he is. He's worked all the way up to half-back to get that mark. There's no forward in the game that works as hard as Nick Rewalt. He's done it now for so long.
Have we underrated his season this year, Richard?
Yeah, I reckon
had the
we
big
have.
bags, has he? But he's
very consistent season, though, Darce.
37 goals in it.
Yeah. 3rd in the Coleman medal race.
Not a bad effort for a sort of a high. He plays a very high half forward, doesn't he?
Yep. And what about the Saints, Richo? Clinton Watkins has tweeted in.
Yep.
You think if the Saints make the final 8, could they actually be a threat for the flag?
I reckon anyone that makes the finals this year can win on any given day. It's such an even season. We'll see Carl.
Big collision here. And Fletcher says, what did I do? And let's have a look. And a 50-metre penalty to go with it as well. Got a cloud over the ear by Fletcher. And a 50-metre penalty to go with that now.
Bit of undisciplined stuff tonight from the Bombers. Yeah, I think anyone that can make the finals this year. We saw last night, if you're off a little bit, Carlton beat Collingwood. Probably no one expected that to happen last night. It's wide open, the premiership race this year. Might be a year someone from outside the top 4 could win, Darce, maybe. Hasn't happened for a while.
Just hit the ball as well, kicking for goal tonight, Richo, as I've seen him in a long time, Nick Rewalt. These are the ones where he often pokes it and doesn't kick them through. See how he goes about it.
Yeah, looking for his 4th goal of the night. He got through that better, didn't he? That was a better result. 69-point St Kilda lead.
Yeah.
Yep. St Kilda by 69. Have a look at this. Dyson wants to give the ball back to Rewalt, but he's not facing him. The umpire says 50 metres. How can he give it back?
Yeah, good point.
That is unbelievable.
Well, when you see Dyson's man running away, so he's keeping one eye on him, and
he was waiting for Rewalt to turn around and accept the ball.
And if he threw it on the back of his head, he would have paid 50. If he holds onto it, he probably paid 50.
So that is probably not fair. But it makes absolutely no difference in the context of this game, because the Saints in front of 45,838. We've got a ground invader on the ground, just in the middle of the ground as well.
Is it a full moon tonight?
I don't know. We've got women ground invaders. We've now got a bloke out there, and it is weird and it's stupid and silly.
He's not seen him real well that way.
There was a couple of idiot pitch invaders at the MCG on Friday night as well. I'm told it was a full moon on Monday. People are going mad here. We don't want to see this. It just ruins the game. You're an idiot. He'll get locked up. He'll have a massive fine come his way.
This guy's run under the ground, and it's not the right thing to do in the security. But we had the lady on the ground before, and nothing.
Well, I think she just looked more officious. I think no one actually thought that she was running onto the pitch.
There is a difference. One's run out in the middle of the ground, one stayed on the sidelines, I know, but nevertheless on the playing arena, Richard.
There's one last night as well, wasn't there?
Two last night.
Yeah. Last night. So I don't know what we're going through here at the moment. It can only be the moon, you're quite right. Here's Lenny Hayes, the superstar for the Saints, a little too high for Rewalt. Carlisle plays on. That's too high for Lovett Murray. Graham's going to eat that up. Dempsey the support, but a tangle of the arms. And Graham is a big kick. I reckon he can convert this.
Well, this is turning into a real blowout, isn't it? Opportunity for Graham to get out to 75 points. And I reckon you're right. I reckon he's capable of kicking this one.
So he winds up from just outside 50, and it's very, very good. He knew from the moment he received it.
Well, it's very talking. It's so tight for spots in the top four. Not good for the Bombers. The percentage not taken. It's great for the Saints, though, because they're in a battle to make that probably last position in the final, 7th or 8th spot. Their percentage has got a little boost here tonight.
Didn't nail the kick, did he? And had a little bit of float about it. Didn't rotate viciously like a good kick would.
The old Stephen Kernahan helicopter.
Yep.
Gets going through the middle, doesn't matter how.
Well, this last quarter has seen no goals and just the one behind to the Bombers. Well, the Saints have gone on and kicked 5 last quarter goals here.
I'm very glad we've been able to watch Essendon for now 8 weeks in a row on Saturday night footy, because I would say after tonight's performance, Essendon are very, very ordinary. They've been pretty bad tonight, but we know they've been really good throughout the season. We can maybe put this one down to just an off night.
It is a great way to celebrate Milne's 250th, and here we go with another opportunity. The tackle in the end was okay for the Saints, avoiding that goal, and there is the Seagull. He's desperate to get home. He's been locked in all night and can't find a way out, Richo.
Yeah, he's not going to get out.
The bonus is he'll have a good feed on the crumbs that are left here tonight where the others won't.
Amy Lee has just tweeted through. She thinks if the Bombers had the old uniform on, they might have played better, even won the game. She's blaming the clash trip, BT.
Come on, Amy. Straighten up. Short ball to Armitage.
I'd say the grey is actually warm with me as the game's gone on. I didn't like it at the start. I'm not a big fan.
Lenny Hayes. So there's still a fair bit of time to go in this game. 8 minutes remaining in the game. Kick down the line is good to Wilkes, and got hands on it, couldn't control the mark.
Actually been pretty important tonight, Bo Wilkes. Gets in the right spot.
Gives them something different, doesn't he, to Rewalt?
Interesting looking customer, Bo Wilkes.
Yeah.
He's got one of those really...
Got an old head on him.
Well lived in head, hasn't he?
He has got a very old head on him. Bo Wilkes, I'm not sure how old he is, but gee, it's aging. Go on, say it.
There it is.
There it is.
It's a well lived in head, that one.
So he's been working in the mines.
Seen a bit of action.
Bo Wilkes. He's been impressive tonight. Jones. Lonergan was in low. Handball comes out to Jeddah. Jeddah to Stanton. He's got the run of Dyson, but was running onto his wrong side there. So Stanton intelligently went long and deep looking for Ryder. Both hands on it. Was he held? That's the question. Dempster out the back. Davey worried him out of it. Still can't get it to work for the Bombers.
Hasn't been... Oh, the super slow-mo not really helping both hooks out there. It's a great shot, that, isn't it? A lot of animation on that
Motion.
face.
Simpkin's been good back there. He was just good in that one-on-one against Ryder, and Saints supporters will be happy with some of the newer players in their team. Sipoffs, Simpkin,
Saints supporters coming out of the woodwork everywhere, Richo. They're enjoying this moment, and why not? Because your team has been ultra impressive here tonight after 2 straight losses to Adelaide and North Melbourne. And the Saints, a real opportunity. They play Brisbane next week. It is at the Gabba.
And it's a big home game for them, BT. 45,838 here at Etihad Stadium tonight to see this massive win. A lot of Bomber fans. The Bomber fans are right up and running as well. But you get the double win. They make a fair bit of money tonight, the Saints, and you get a massive 4-point victory.
Yes, almost 46,000 here tonight. That'll be a good win for them.
Boys, if the Saints players are looking after their teammates, they've got to get the ball in Farron Ray's hand. He was the substitute, but he's currently sitting on donuts, and I've been watching him. He's running around desperate to get a touch. Yes. He doesn't want to end up with 0 touches.
And they've given him not a thing, Lingy.
Nah, I think they're trying to find him, but he just can't find the footy.
Well, here it is. It's coming out his way, Farron Rowe, and Lingy just looking for the donuts. Had to go and get it himself. There it is. Well done, Cameron Ling. Kick to Milne. Milne has been ultra impressive here tonight. He's kicked 6 goals, I think, isn't it, Richo? 5. That's right, a bag, according to Richo. Some fancy footwork from Snyder. Jones didn't have the peripheral vision as Hocking came off the bench. Picked up by Ray.
One of his old teammates, Stephen Baker's tweeted us. He said, Milne dog, unstoppable. 5 is a bag, but he'll kick 6 anyway. Well, he needs one more, Bakes, to live up to that 6. Still got a bit of time to do it.
And this kick not so good because neither player was ready for that. Picked up by Sipos around the corner with a high bending ball. Offline.
He just torched Ahmed Sarr with the handball there. Little Ahmed looks back over his shoulder and suggests that might have been flicked on. Have a look at this from the vision. Poor kick inside the corridor. And that resulted in a turnover.
So Stanton. Wide to Hooker. Sad old score, isn't it? 74-point margin for the Bombers. But the Saints will be absolutely rapt about this. And haven't really been able to string games together this year. They won 2 in a row in rounds 2 and 3. And since then, they haven't won consecutive games. This will give them a chance to go and play Brisbane next week and make it 2 in a row. Kick goes deep. And the punch through in the end by Simpkin was defensively well done.
Found a defender there, definitely, Simpkin, for the future, the Saints.
What sort of player can he play on, Richo?
Well, he's 191. He's bigger than what you probably think. He's capable. He matched Paddy Ryder in that one-on-one before and brought it to ground. So I think he can play on all types, to be honest.
Big and small.
Yeah.
So a good find, says Richo, of Simpkin. He's just played the handful of games, 13 games so far in his career.
Only played 2 matches before this year, or played 10 this year.
Here he is, the man we speak of. Had a nasty collision with Reimers earlier, and he got a bandage, and Reimers has been removed out of the game as a result of a real nasty head collision.
It's just put in a 250-metre lead to get this beat. So I followed him all the way around. Yeah. He did a loop to defensive 50, ran through the middle of the ground, came back. Poor Jake Carlisle. Get a shot of him on the mark. He is absolutely knackered.
No wonder he struggles to kick the ball when he's got to kick a goal.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. Look at Jake Carlisle. He just has never seen anything like it.
Yeah, I reckon that has affected Nick's kicking sometimes for goal, because he puts in that much work, a bit of lactic acid in the legs sometimes when he's kicking for goal. He's kicked well tonight.
He has. Gilbert. Down to big boy McAvoy. Elevated, couldn't quite hold on, and Lonergan got it out, but only to Wilkes. Wilkes just A slider around the corner found Nick Rewalt.
Well, Carlo had to come off the ground. He looked over at the bench and waved and said, I just have to come off. Rewalt got a cheap one.
Farron Ray drives it inside, looking for Cozzy, got a good jump at it, couldn't hold it, off hands. She was fast hands by Stephen to Snyder. Snyder a little left foot around the corner, and he makes it work for the Saints.
Nice little shiner Adam Snyder's sporting tonight before he came into the game. Caught one at training. I mean, a premiership player with the Sydney Swans, this man. Really, really clever, smart footballer, and they would love to get him really fit, really cranking up leading into the finals.
Had 9 goal kickers tonight, the Saints, 21 goals, just a great spread.
There's the goal that Jack Stephen provided Snyder. He was tackled and got the kick away very nicely off his preferred side, then went straight to the bench and sporting a little shiner to his Snyder and the right eye there. I don't think it's from tonight's game. Hocking to Watson and Lovett Murray back to Watson. Watson from 45 out. Got a hand on it, Simpkin.
We chose tonight one of the games in review at the Bombers. You almost just, you do the things you need to do, but you just discard it. You count as one that didn't quite go the way you want and you move on. Is there some concerns for you about, are they really the real deal, Essendon, or can they just put a black line through this one?
Look, I think you never put a black line through a game, I don't believe. They'll have a look at what went wrong tonight. It is pretty obvious. The Saints have limited how Essendon want to play, and they've done it very well. Hurley had no influence. Cramry didn't play. He was a big out, obviously. They wouldn't be happy with how it's gone. They'll review it, but...
Funny thing to say, having only lost 3 games before tonight's game, Richo, but really, when it comes to beating the top sides, West Coast is 1 win for them. And other than that, I mean, on top 4 sides, top 5 sides, that's it.
They've only played 3 of the teams
Fair enough,
currently sitting in the 8, BT. They've actually had a pretty good draw, but
got a lot of those to come,
3 of those to come in the next 4 weeks. So I reckon after the next 4 weeks, you can probably get a real indication where they're at, the Bombers.
Right, a high balls one.
This game will be, sorry, BT, this game will be a great one for Essendon to review. That St Kilda have owned the corridor on them, haven't let them play their natural game. Well, if that happens in a final, Essendon need a plan B. They need something else to go to that also works and stands up against quality teams. So hopefully this game they can learn from it, come up with a plan B that's going to work, and they can implement it if they're faced with the same thing in finals time.
The old plan B, Richo.
Yeah.
And you could look at the Saints matches to come there as well. Brisbane away, Sydney away, the Western Bulldogs at home, and then Collingwood. So they've got an interesting month as well ahead, the Saints.
Sipos, a massive drop punt kick down the line to Farron Ray, who marked on the new bit of turf, which is right in front of the interchange gates here. The most used bit of turf on the ground, with the traffic that goes through there. A couple of hundred in every game. And against, it'll go to Milne. No, it'll go to Hibbert against Steve Milne, said the umpire. So Hibbert just the little left foot ball into Dempsey. They can't wait for this to be over the Bombers. 1:30 remaining in it. Dyson turns to his left side, which is his favourite side, and spots up for one of the rare times down the corridor. Lovett Murray onto Howlett, and this is where they move the ball really well when they get it in that position, and they can go left or right. Lonergan now kicks it out of bounds on the full.
You see that they did come down the middle, Lovett Murray, but it was that next kick going inside 50. They then forced them wide, so just hasn't worked tonight. It's worked all year though. It's been fantastic the way they've played through the middle. Just been shut down.
So the Saints looking for win number 7, and they are going to get it here tonight. They have been very, very impressive. Led by Stevie Milne in game 250. Watch the boys enjoy his presence after the game as well. Cameron Ling will get hold of him, hopefully. Off the play, Montagna got bowled over by Paddy Reiner there, and now Simpkin has impressed Richo tonight. Gilbert had to straighten on that left, and a nice little kick under pressure found Geary. For those that have just joined us, 45,838 here tonight. And the Saints have built the lead. It was 4 points at quarter time, 23 at half, 46 at 3/4 time, and now 77 as Melksham goes around the corner and kicks a late one for the Bombers.
It is the first game for the year, BT. You just gave the quarter-by-quarter breakdowns that Essendon haven't won a quarter. And as you just pointed out, the Saints have been able to just continually grow their margin right across the course of the game. Elksham gets a little bit of one in junk time here. But Scotty Waters, to me, has really made a great impression on this side. They've had some weeks where it hasn't quite gone their way, but he really has had a clear plan. I reckon he's been very open, very honest with the way that he's coached and what his aspirations are for the side, and it'll just fill him up with a heap of confidence. James Hird likewise, some disappointment. This is what they've got to come. Port Adelaide, Geelong both away, Hawthorn at home, and Adelaide Crows away, so that is a big month.
Bombers have kicked 1 goal 6 in this quarter. St Kilda 6 goals 1, getting it done at the back end of this game. Saints fans, with win number 7 for the year, you have got to be impressed with your team tonight. In the 8.